Hey guys, it's Paul Brooks, and I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded in a few days. I'm getting my life stuff together, a bunch of other things while I'm trying to do these hero designs and all these other things for these videos. So yeah, we're here now, so like, comment, subscribe, and let's jump right into it. So let's start with a fan favorite, the man with the red hair, Shanks. I'm going to run through these really quick and give my thoughts as I go. So basically, Shanks' primary fire is going to be Griffin, his sword. He'll swing his sword to deal damage, and on the fourth swing, he'll shoot out a hockey slash for mid-range potential. This is to differentiate him from Zoro and Fujitora, whereas Zoro, primary fire slashing is separate from his ranged hockey slash, and Fujitora I think is all ranged hockey slashes with maybe a little bit more bonus damage. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but yeah, this was to sort of differentiate Shanks from them in that way. His secondary fire I had to improvise because the only move we have is Divine Departure, and that's from Roger. So we're just going to go with the Divine theme and go with his secondary fire, Heavenly Riposte. Basically, Shanks quickly braces himself to reflect damage away from him, retaliating in a counter-attack. This will be on a 3 to 6 second cooldown. I did this, it would probably be more like a 6 or 8, but this was just how I have it written down here. The reason I did this was because, if you remember in my DPS video, the way I differentiated Future Sight from normal observation dodging was normal observation dodging, you are not attacking back, you are just dodging. But Future Sight, you can dodge and then go in a way to where you can attack back, so that's sort of a nod to how Shanks is attacking. By the way, didn't mention this, my bad, he's a Buccaneer. His ability 1, Divine Departure. Now, I made this a little different. Basically, Shanks charges his sword kind of like how Magic charges her ranged slash, He'll do that and then he'll dash forward and slash. The slash itself and the ranged slash both do damage, so they can be done separately, but they're always coupled. That didn't make any sense, but just let me finish. If you hit an enemy directly with the slash, Shanks will then hit them up into the air, kick them back away from him before doing a spinning Divine Departure into them, and this will have impact frames. Now, here's how it would work. Basically, this is a movement ability, but also an attack. So if you dash and you hit somebody, you'll do what I just said. If you dash and you don't quite hit them with the dash itself, then you'll just do the slashing part of Divine Departure. This is a way to give it not even extra damage, because the overall damage will be the same, but dashing into them will be a lot cooler because you'll have impact frames and stuff. So yeah, that's his Divine Departure. His ability 2 is called Emperor's Will. I wanted to give Shanks some way to keep himself up, as none of his crewmates have Devil Fruits, and so there's not a lot of in-battle kind of healing and support other than just keeping each other from dying fully, So I decided let's give him some sustain with Emperor's Will. Shanks focuses, and he'll focus his body and then remove all of his debuffs and activate his self-healing over time for a couple seconds. This will be 6 to 10, maybe even 12 seconds. It's kind of longer cooldown because it is very powerful. It's a cleanse as well as a healing ability for himself. And then finally for Shanks, his ultimate ability, Red Emperor's Presence. Basically, Shanks will unleash his Conqueror's Hockey, stunning all enemies within its radius for a couple seconds for him and his allies to cut down. I made this have impact frames because initially, like I was saying in one of the last couple videos, impact frames are mostly going to be single target attacks, but I do think some ultimates deserve to have the impact frames with this kind of Conqueror's hockey assertion upon his enemies. I feel like that's very worthy. Also, yes, this is very similar to Dr. Strangeall. I know that is kind of what I was going for, but yeah, that is my Shanks hero concept. Now on to our next character, the strongest man in the world, the beardless Whitebeard. Basically, Whitebeard is going to be a Dreadnought, and here are his abilities. His primary fire is going to be Bicento, which is his polearm blade that he is going to bring down to strike his foes. This is obviously no ammo. His secondary fire is Airquake Slash. He'll use his Devil Fruit on his Bicento, kind of like how Law does with his Kikoku, I think is how you say it, and his Devil Fruit. he'll do that and then create a powerful air slash as he swings his blade. It'll be like a 6 to 8 second cooldown, giving him that sort of mid to long range, you know? His ability 1 is going to be called Island Splinter. Basically, Whitebeard will slam down his foot into the ground, launching enemies in a line in front of him up into the air, movement locking them for a moment. This will be 6 to 10 seconds. It'll probably be more than a second, maybe 1 to 2 seconds, but we'll see how it would go. His ability 2 is called Indomitable Will. Whitebeard stands strong and takes damage at a reduced rate and is immune to CC. The cooldown will be 8 to 10 seconds, and it'll be like about 40% damage reduction if I had to put a number on it. Most of these damage reduction, healing, increases, decreases, etc. are pretty vague, pretty malleable. I'm just kind of giving a range for what I would think, and it would just be tweaked as, you know, a game would be made. And then his ultimate is called World's Strongest. Whitebeard will slam his fists into the air, knocking back nearby enemies heavily and stunning those within close proximity. Because when I was making Whitebeard, I couldn't stop thinking about how I did Blackbeard, because let's be honest, that's his strongest attack. Is slamming his fists into the air. Blackbeard does it too, and shattering the air. Except Whitebeard needs to be different from Blackbeard, even though Blackbeard has his devil fruit. So I decided, why not also stun enemies within like a 5 feet of you, you know? So you could honestly, flanking Whitebeard strat, movement lock them, jump into them, and then just boom, stun like half the team at least, knocking back the rest a lot. And then your team can just pick them off as they're separated. That was kind of like the idea here, and I hope that when translated into a game, they would feel different enough with their ultimates, because Blackbeard you get pulled in, Whitebeard you just wouldn't. But yeah, that is my Whitebeard Dreadnought concept. To finish off this very short list of you could call it a DLC for the Emperors, we have the Genius Jester, the Star Clown, Buggy, and basically Buggy will also be a Buccaneer like Shanks. Buggy's primary fire is going to be Buggy Grenade. Basically, Buggy will throw grenades, they're like mini Buggy balls basically, for like even smaller, to do damage. Hitting enemies directly will do more damage and cause a bigger explosion. He'll have like 8 of these before he has to reload. His secondary fire is very fun. It's called Bara Bara Car, which if you don't remember is when he rearranges his limbs, grabs some tires, and turns into a car, quote unquote. Buggy will dismantle and reassemble himself into a sort of car form, increasing his movement speed for a few seconds, and leaves a trail of cartoony dust behind him. This will be on a resource meter. So, like, you would have a cast timed where you can hit him a bunch before you can do this. I think it's just be fun to start outlining his goofy personality within the character's kit. Buggy's ability 1 is going to be called Bara Bara Trickery. Basically, Buggy leaps into the air and then falls to the ground, breaking apart, similar to how his death animation would go. And if enemies are around him and the duration ends, or he ends it early, Buggy will like spin around and grab all of them and then throw them away in whatever direction he's facing before sprinting away in the opposite direction. This is like an 8 to 10 second cooldown. I thought this would be silly and fun to be like, because like it would really reward learning how characters like look and how they're animated, because the death animation will be different from this quote-unquote death animation, but I also thought it would just be fun to give somebody a fake death kind of ability, and I didn't with Usopp, so I figured, why not Buggy? His ability 2 is going to be called Buggy Special Delivery. Basically, Buggy will like throw a present forward, and after a second of ticking, like it'll go tick 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 tick, the present will explode. It'll like pop up a Buggy ball on a pedestal and then it explode like not even half a second later, and it'll do a bunch of AoE damage. This will be on like a 6 to 8 second cooldown, just because I wanted something towards like a big old AoE burst damage rather than his normal grenades. And now here is probably my favorite ability of Buggy's, his ultimate ability, Clown Town. Buggy will separate his body parts and make a circus tent with them, kind of like if he was in his current emperor sort of outfit, he would do that. Enemies inside will be trapped, and all outside damage won't do anything to the tent. It'll be like bouncing and making funny little clown noises from the outside perspective. Buggy will be inside and take reduced damage, and if he does die, it will fall down. But the idea is, right, everybody inside the tent cannot see outside the tent and vice versa, and anybody outside the tent cannot deal damage inside the tent, but inside can deal damage. Outside, you just can't see them. So he doesn't really do anything but just isolate people, because if all the team goes into it, right, or he captures them in it, he could just C9 you from the point. If you need to go touch point, Buggy can just jump in the middle of you all, just pop up Clown Town, and then look at that. You have to kill him very quickly or you're cooked. And I think it's a very fun idea. But yeah, that concludes my Buccaneer concept. But yeah, no, I just wanted to hit the last 3 Emperors, get them done, get them out, and like pretty decent. In my opinion, I really like Buggy, I really like Shanks. I do think Whitebeard could use some work, but I could always just make a rework for any heroes I have trouble with, which, who knows, maybe after I do the Warlords and a couple other groups of people like CP9 or government officials, people like that, I might look at these and be like, let's do a rework video or two. Be like, hey, I'm gonna change these characters and here's how, but no, with that, I'll see y'all in the next one. Hopefully it'll be the Warlords, and bye bye.